Welcome to Triple Trouble. My name is Chef and I'm here with George Riles from Archery Learning Center, and we are going to talk about the angular draw versus the straight draw of the recurve bow, because I don't know anything about angular draw. I took in some expert help, and George is going to explain the difference between us and why you would use one of the other.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So you're going to demonstrate straight, and I'm going to
yeah.
demonstrate angular.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? Okay. So the purpose behind angular draw is essentially, I'm going to set this down right here, is essentially when you are holding your bow and when this arm comes around the front of your body, my elbow is this far away from my chest, right? And when you pick up a bucket full of water, your wrist is in this angle right here, like so. And your wrist has to have a little bit of a flex so that the load against your hand is pointed at the end of the lever, which is right here, right? So when I come around, it would be just as if I was holding a bucket of water like this, right? Which is biomechanically correct, so you're properly using your muscle to support that load, right? So when I hold the bow up and draw through, my hand will be this far away from my chest because my elbow sticks out this far away from my body as I come around. A lot of shooters tend to exaggerate this a little bit by holding forward on their shoulders and opening very big. That's kind of an exaggeration on the teaching that is a little outside of your range of motion and could even put your shoulders at risk, right? So the way it should be done is when you hold up, of course the bow will be a little bit off center to you because your hand is off center to your body, right? And as this comes straight around, you see I'm coming at an angle, right? And as this comes straight around and my elbow reaches its apex right here, and then as I continue to come around, my hand naturally closes in toward my face, and then I go 45 up and in, right there, okay? So I'll do it with the bow once so you can kind of see what it looks like. This is Chef's bow, so it's probably way too heavy for me, but I'm gonna give it a go anyway. So I'll start off right here. I've got my finger tab, it's not here, but arrow in the bow, get my fingers how I want them, get my hand how I want that, and then I'm gonna look up at the target. And when I raise straight up, I'm not gonna come out here and do this business here. We don't want that, right? I'm gonna come straight up and then come around and then up to my anchor there. It's a little heavy, I'm feeling it, but that's how that works. So that way my shoulders and the direction at which I'm rolling around my body fits the power that I need to use against the bow, rather than having to change my body shape to come linearly back. I have to change my body shape a little to come into anchor, right? So the things that you have to look out for is letting this shoulder reach too far forward like this, or holding the bow partially drawn when you raise the bow up, because you can just, all you need is just enough pressure so that your fingers and your grip stays in place.
Especially
right?
the grip.
Right. And when I raise up, there's a tiny bit, then I extend or kind of create, we call that barrel of the gun, barrel of the gun. And then I come around and anchor. You see, that's not the big, wide, exaggerated thing.
I would still see this as pretty much a straight draw, because I feel like this is also what I do. So I don't go straight from there to there. I will go a little bit outside as well, because it sort of makes sense for my shoulder.
Right, because it has to stay in here close, because if you hold that out away from your body, you end up with pressure here, right? So you're actually doing what we would consider an angular draw. And the way to really tell the difference is the position of the wrist. Because if the wrist is open, it's going to be angular as it comes around, because it'll kind of trace this pattern right here. If the wrist is bent this way and it comes straight like this, that's the linear draw. And even just doing this myself and coming in here, I can feel the bind right here.
Right? Why would you, I think in my case, I don't do this, I don't put my wrist in, but I don't do it out either. Mine is just straight.
And it has to do with also how much bend that's in your wrist has to do with the length of your segments.
Okay.
Like the length from here to here and from here to here has to do with the length from here to here. So the load points at the end of the lever, right? So when I draw that back, you see I have a tiny bit more of a flex than you would, but it's because my lengths here are different from yours.
Probably,
right? But the key here is it's not pronated this way, it's open this way. And this is sort of a universal joint. It floats around, it doesn't stay rigid in this position.
That's
it
something
follows.
That's something that we've also talked about in our technique week. We've done a full series of videos about technique, and one of the things is that your wrist is always relaxed. You don't want to have tension in the wrist because that will also put tension on the fingers.
Correct, And here's the best way to see this for yourself. If you get a form master or an elbow deal, right, hook it here, right, and have it fixed to your string, and leave your hand just loose and relaxed, and raise the bow and draw the bow with just your elbow, you'll see what an angular draw looks like, because that will be angular, and you'll even see the line change shape as the straightness of the form master comes around and comes into anchor. Right.
If you don't know what a form master is, we also did a video on that, so check that one out as well.
Thanks for having me, Chef.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for explaining.
All right. Enjoy.